Yo, people, welcome back to another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea, episode number 191 of All You Can Eat Chelsea, with a cast and crew, with a panel, with the brothers that you love the most. Javon, Miz, Younes, after a big fixture against Manchester United, a lot of talking points going into Noah's Ark on Thursday. Seriously, it's really Arsenal that I'm looking at. I remember last week we was looking at Man United instead of Newcastle. This week I'm definitely looking at Arsenal over Thursday, because I think we've seen enough of the B team in Conference League now to know that they should be above that level. But are they a level above Premier League? As Baba joins us, big up Baba, because
what's up?
Some of the substitutes are not getting used in the Premier League. They're not even making an appearance, can't even make a contribution. Very interesting, even though Maresca's been saying that he loves everybody and that he trusts everybody and he wishes everybody could play. So before we get into all of that, Javon, talk to me, brother. How are you doing today? How are you feeling after that result?
Yeah, I'm not as emotional as I was after drawing to Manchester United. Very crap Manchester United, and playing to their level. I'm ready to get into the discussion with the fellas, with the brothers, and ready to get started. Feeling good.
Miz, brother, how are you feeling? How are you doing, man? Everybody wanted a big win. A lot of disappointment in that.
Yeah, man, it was a massive disappointment. It was anger of a different type, not anger that was rant type of an anger. It was anger like deep inside. You know that angry where you're mixed in with disappointment as well. Like, I'm angry with you so much, but man, I'm disappointed too. Like, I don't want to rant to you. I don't want to even rant, but I'm so angry with you. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
And then you walk away. Then you walk away. You don't say anything. You just walk away. You go, do you know what? You're not worth it. I walk away. Yeah, you're just disgusted. But look, a few days taken away from it. Once again, like the last time I was around, I missed the last episode, but the one before that, you come to a realization. You know, day one is all about emotion. Day two is about realization. And I'm in a realization phase now.
Day 3 is throw yourself off a cliff.
Day 3, we start the hype again. We're beating Arsenal.
Day 3 is introspection. Day 3 is introspection.
Younes, brother, how are you feeling today? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's mad. When you get reminded of what went down on the weekend, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, we have to talk about it, but I have to say, I didn't think the game would end where both set of fans will almost be like looking at each other like, is that what we did? Like we're both shit. Like, we gave it chest. They gave it chest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We gave it. Well, I say we gave it chest. Matisse, you went to another planet with chest for that game, and you're lucky that they didn't show up either. So, they gave it chest to no one left with anything. Kind of a disappointment, really. Overall, just plain.
Very bland, very plain, very lack of seasoning, no spice. Baba, it was just, I mean, how was it for you, brother? How are you feeling today?
Bro, I've come to terms with the fact that we can't beat Man United at Old Trafford. As simple as that. Like, no matter how crap they are, how good we are, how much momentum we have, how much shit they are in, does not matter. I mean, like, it's a greater mystery than the Great Pyramids of Giza. Like, why we can't beat Manchester United at Old Trafford? What happens to us? The mental block is unreal, bro. I don't know. Like, for real, I thought you've played against Liverpool, right? Anfield is one of the most hostile atmospheres and one of the most difficult places to go. You had a decent performance over there. So, like, that is out of the way. Go to Man United. It's the best time to play them. Grab a win. But I don't know what happens. Like, in the last two occasions when we won the title also. Once we have drawn there, that Robin Van Persie equalizer in the last minute, and once we lost that Ender Herrera locking down Eden Hazard, if you remember. So even when we have played well in the seasons that we've played well, we are not able to beat that team at Old Trafford. I don't know what happened. So I was like, back of my mind, I had this, that we might not play well. And when the first half happened, I was like, oh, here we go again. And I tell you what, we'll play well against Arsenal at the weekend. We might beat them also. But this Man United at Old Trafford thing, like it's like your kid goes to a math exam, right? And he always fucks it up. But this time you've got him a tutor, you've got him home tuitions, extra classes and whatnot, and you're confident that he'll do it. But again, he messes up the exam and you're like, okay, I know you were prepared
Maths
well, but
not for you.
Maths is not for you. Maths is not for. I'm not really surprised. I'm like what Miss said, right? It's her anger, but of a different kind. Like I'm not angry, but I'm disappointed in you, and I'm not even surprised. So it's a funny feeling, bro. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's a weird one because where do we start? Do we start with the praise for Caicedo? He's having a great season now. Brilliant goal. I didn't even celebrate the goal because I was still so angry with the fact that we'd played how we've played up until that goal. So that goal went in and it just didn't move me. It's only when I watched it on replay, I was like, that goal there was special. That was a special strike. It should have meant more than it did in terms of the result. It should have been a winner. It was a game winning level of goal. Whereas unfortunately the performance was just so dry, so inept, so just disappointing that, I was so angry. It's almost like you're taking a piss. You needed to go 1-0 down to show me something. So show me something special. Like where was this quality from the attackers? But Pedro Neto as well, grafted. Be interesting to see now if he starts against Arsenal on the right, maybe, and Sancho comes back in. But
He has to, bro.
where do we start? Because it's a very weird game. Like you guys said, we stooped to their level so much. We dropped off to their level so much. It was so uncharacteristic of us this season to play in that manner. If there's one thing you can usually count on Chelsea, is that they're going to play exciting football. It's going to be, there's going to be chances created. It's going to be a lively game. There's going to be goals, whether it's at home to Brighton, away to Wolves, it's going to be a good game. This one here was just, it's almost like they never got out of first gear. And I'd say you only need to be in second gear to beat Man United, but they didn't even get out of first gear. It's like the car stalled.
Everything was so slow. But I want to hear from everybody else because I went on a rant. But everything was just so slow in my opinion.
I'll just say one thing before everyone gets in. The more I think about the game, the more I saw it after it happened. I think the manager went in there with the mindset of a draw. I can't help but think that. That's why we didn't see Nkunku any effort to win the game. When we got that equalizer, I think he was like, okay, we are playing shit. Might as well take a draw, take a point, save your face, save yourself from embarrassment and get the hell out of there. Don't even go into the dressing room. Get the bus ready. After the game, we head straight into the bus, go to London. No need of taking those showers and, going into the away dressing room. And I don't know what is there in the United away dressing room, because when I did the stadium tour for Old Trafford, every stadium, Chelsea, Anfield, Man City, they show you the away dressing room. In Old Trafford, when I did the stadium tour, they didn't show us the away dressing room. I don't know if something is there or not. So
there was probably leaks in there.
It's a black hole. There's nothing there.
Might be. But I think we were very, very scared, very passive, and it was a cowardly performance, if I could put it simply. Like
Timid.
So, timid. Very, very timid.
Papa, you got up your game. You got up your game on the touchline, man.
Trying, bro. Bro,
I'm going to start running on you.
Bro, you gotta give me the benefit of doubt, right? It's my first season in top flight football, so I'm also learning.
Baba Maresca, we got you, bro.
He did say post-match that there was a quote post-match that he said important games, it's better to get a result. In Italy, we get a result and we go. We don't, take the risk maybe to win. We don't lose these important games. I don't know, but then in my opinion, then he's overestimating and overvaluing that Manchester United team and their performance.
Gave them too much respect.
If you did that away to City, I'd get it. If you did it away to Arsenal or Liverpool, I'd get it. But to do that at Manchester United, who were literally not good, they just needed a little bit of. We just needed to have a little bit of thought and a little bit of control and a little bit of, quality, and we would have won that game, even though we didn't play well.
Do you think it's because of everyone, given what you said, do you think it's because of the whole thing around. We haven't beaten Manchester United at their ground in 11 years. That's why I gave him so much respect.
I don't know
that
why
should
he'd
not
be
matter to
interested in
this
that
team,
record.
right?
it shouldn't
Because the
apply.
whole squad, the manager, the players, everything is new, right? Even the ownership is new. So that does not matter, should not matter to this lot, right? So I don't know what happened.
No, and look, we put ourselves in a situation. Then we managed to get ourselves back into the game. After Caicedo scored, I mean, even I was looking at it going, I remember seeing 1-1, and I was like, not again. Like, no, come on. Like, there's like 15 minutes. Someone's got to score. Even if we lose, someone's got to score. Another 1-1. You just kind of knew it was coming. But it could have been prevented so easily. So easily. And then you look at as to, again, our defensive issues, or were we not too clinical up top? We didn't really create too much, but we weren't really doing much. We didn't create, period. You know, is that another issue? I mentioned that in my review. United, you could say, at times held some shape, but they didn't really do much either. They were playing, so they were there for the taking. When you look at it, Tottenham rocked up to Old Trafford and put 3 past them, albeit with Ten Hag. But the Man United team, in terms of quality, was there for the taking. We just didn't, whether we weren't up for it, or we weren't phased, or we gave them too much respect, or we didn't create too much. There's so many avenues you could go down in terms of possibility as to why we end up with that result. So it's a tough one.
And that's a really nice way to summarize. There's so many different avenues that you can touch on. I want to touch on one particular avenue here, because there's so many and we can jump around, right? But one particular one that I would want to focus on, I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. Have you noticed teams that want to press us aggressively and they want to win the ball in our half? We generally tend to have a better match, a better, more exciting game, because they want to press, we want to build up, and we want to have space in behind, which then creates a lot of chaos, and we end up scoring goal. Like Newcastle, for instance, in recent times, came to Stamford Bridge. They played a totally different game to what they played against Arsenal. For some reason, against us, they should have seen the blueprint of Liverpool, but for some reason they didn't follow that, and they pressed us, and we found a lot of love in behind, and we scored goals. I think similarly happened with West Ham, Wolves, teams that don't want to hold back on us. Now, on the contrary to that, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, structure, they don't want to press. It's almost as if you have the ball. You try and damage us. We're going to be very structured, very compact. You show me what you got on the ball, and we're going to stifle some of your players. Cole Palmer, for instance, because I think the opposition don't really rate anyone else in our team besides Cole at the moment. They know that he's your main guy who can create something special. We'll stifle him. We'll have a couple of markers on him. You do what you... This is why Malo Gusto was so free all the time, because they allowed him to be free. They're like, we don't rate that guy. We don't rate him. He can have all the ball. Give him all the ball. We've seen his form this season. It's not good. Man United, I thought in my preview, and I said this, I don't know what you guys, I thought they were going to, at Old Trafford, with Eric Ten Hag gone, buzzing atmosphere, they were going to come at us aggressively and press and try and win the ball, which will then open up space for us, because we love that. We can build out from the back very seamlessly. But I think what we're starting to realize, and this is what I said, I'm at a realization phase now, where I think Enzo Maresca's next evolution has to be, it's all well and dandy when teams want to come at us and you can play around them and then open up Cole Palmer, open up Pedro Neto, open up Madueke, open up Jackson. What are you going to do when teams, they don't even necessarily have to be low blocks, Beautiful mid-block, structured, Cole Palmer marked, maybe Jackson marked as well. Then what, Chelsea? Then what, Maresca? What are you going to do now? What's your plan now? Oh, ball out wide to Madueke. Yeah, we don't rate him. He ain't got no cross in him.
It's true.
And if he wants to cut in with his left, he don't have the shooting technique that Salah possesses. We're not worried. Let him have the shot from outside. We'll tackle that. All the crosses, all the set pieces, they're just all wasted. Because the opposition don't rate us that way. They know what our strengths are and they know what our weaknesses are. It's now up to Maresca. And this is the point that comes back to what Matisse started the whole this topic about. Why you got Nkunku and João Felix for then? Do you know what I mean? You need to add a little bit more flavor. It cannot just be Cole Palmer because he needs help now. Every team, Arsenal. You think Man United were tactically well set up? Arsenal are the masters of it. What game are we going to bring against Arsenal when some of their players nullify Cole Palmer's game? Or what if, I don't even know, because apparently Cole Palmer could be injured. That's the latest news. What then? If there's no Cole Palmer, then what?
We're in trouble.
We're in trouble. And that can't be Chelsea Football Club. That cannot be Chelsea Football Club. So Enzo Maresca now needs to evolve this team where, I'm sorry, Malo Gusto cannot be the free guy anymore. Because and it's not even Maresca's fault that Malo Gusto is free. Opposition is allowing Malo Gusto to be free. Because they don't want Palmer to be free. We're not going to let Palmer to be free. Sorry, he's too good on the ball. So we allow someone else. Now he's got to find a solution. How can I make another person free? So that's my realization that a lot of our players are not up to the mark, man. Like Pedro Neto is a very, very good player. He's probably someone close to Palmer. But even Jackson disappointed me against Man United, man.
Yeah.
Just being in the middle of two defenders. Brother, show yourself.
To be fair, though,
show yourself.
I did want to be fair on Jackson and say that there are games where a striker has a bad game, and then there's games where he's quiet. I think that was one of them. Nothing really came to him, and I do think more of the emphasis on the fact that, well, Madueke, as you said, Gusto's side, Neto was trying with Cole Palmer in that pocket, wasn't as free as I'm sure he'd like to be. But Jackson, yeah, you could argue maybe he could have come deeper because Cole Palmer was coming very deep and he shouldn't have come that deep. But this is where I add extra emphasis on the midfield ability. Offensively. Like when we do want to try and create, the problem here, I think, is that there's only Cole Palmer that can create it. No one else can really create. Everyone's kind of just going with the flow and it's almost getting robotic. Whereas Cole Palmer's the one that gets your brain cells thinking, oh my God, what's he going to do? But that's it. And as you've said, you shut Cole Palmer out. A striker needs to have those avenues where things are coming from. So yeah, you could argue maybe it could have come deeper. Absolutely. If it's not working for you in that area of the pitch, come deep and fetch it. That's logical. But aside from that, nothing else was really getting to him. You could see that he was trying to pick out runs, and I do criticize him on one thing. There was a few times he reminded me of Lukaku. You know where you want him to run one way and then he runs the other way? I'm like, brother, where you going? Like, he done that a few times. Apart from that, though, I'm not going to really...
But the thing is, there were times where we were in and the pass was just not played or it was overhit. Gusto, Madueke, I remember an instance. Palmer not playing it with Neto. Jackson, Palmer not, seeing eye to eye on a counter. There was actually still gaps. So even though Manchester United might have set themselves up better than usual in terms of Mazzarri had a great game, Martinez and De Ligt didn't have any issues, there were still moments and there's still space. He wasn't as, Palmer wasn't as shackled as he was against Liverpool.
No.
It's just Palmer, when the decision needed to be made, sometimes wasn't making the right decision. And then the only attacker that actually played to a good level for the whole game, even when he switched flanks, was Neto. And I want to ask what you guys felt of the fullbacks, because he played Gusto on the right. Gusto was shocking in the first half. But the reason why people are communicating, the reason why, and I wanted to bring it up, is because he wants Colwell in the middle of the defense. So he wants Colwell in the middle of the defense, and he wants, therefore, then Gusto to not, he's not going to swap Gusto and Reece James, obviously, because Gusto can't play in the three. And he wants Colwell in the middle. And he's also maybe looking at the aerial side of Reece James. But for me, I'm still looking at Cucurella and I'm thinking, and he doesn't want Reece James at right side because he doesn't want Reece James to go box to box and to play Gusto's role. right? So he's playing Reece James in a stationary, restricted defensive role. He's not doing it on the right because then Colwell goes to the left and Fofana's in the middle. So that's the logic behind the situation, it seems, is that Colwell needs to be in the middle because he doesn't want Fofana in the middle. He doesn't want Badiashile. Obviously, Disasi's not playing, tossing. He wants Colwell in the middle, probably the best defender on the ball. And he doesn't want Reece James doing the Gusto shuttle bus run all the way up to the edge of the box because he's not fit. So he's put Reece James over there. How do you guys feel about that? Where can we find a solution for that? Because for me, the solution would be to still play Cucurella on the left side, right, and inverting into midfield because that's where he's been playing as a box to box. And if you don't feel that Colwell can go out wide, then maybe you do leave Cucurella. But Reece James, maybe just leave it as a flat four then. Mm-hmm. Just leave it as a flat four and just restructure the team. Because for me, Gusto as this box to box midfielder is not making sense all season. It's not working for him. He's not contributing in the final third. He's not.
I said this and I'll say it again. What's the whole point of that? Is the whole point of that to get that free man in Gusto forward, to create more chances, to create overload, to play that, to get into those positions where, hey, I'm not being picked up, the opposition can't handle me, let me play a final ball to create something? It's all negated if that final ball is not good. Doing all of that setup, doing all of that training is null, is all muted if when it comes crunch time, you can't play the final ball to create nothing. And then when you look defensively, you still that has a knock-on effect where you still don't have the players in their best position at the back. So for me, it makes no sense.
This is my theory. I don't think Gusto was ever meant to be Maresca's free man. This is just my theory, because I've been thinking about this quite a lot as well lately, post that match especially. I'm going to come back to what Matisse said as well. I don't think the plan is to have Gusto the free man. I think the plan is to have Cole Palmer as the free man. When you think from a logical standpoint, that's my best player. I want that guy to be the free man. The problem that is created here is when you've got people on Cole Palmer, naturally Gusto becomes the free man because the opposition's allowing you to have him as the free man. That's just my thought. That's number one. This is why it's not a coincidence that we kept on seeing Gusto having most of the ball. Like, why is it that he's always free? The opposition would not allow that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it should be Cole Palmer that's free. That's just from a logical standpoint. Come back to what Matisse said. Yes, Levi Colwell potentially to be the CCB, Reece James to ensure that he doesn't go up and down. But I think we have to think about the fundamentals of what Maresca's trying to do. He wants to have 5 and 5. So you got to think about it that way. 5 and 5. Mm-hmm. Who those 5 are, where they are, that we'll get to. But the first fundamental thing is it's always got to be 3, 2, and 4, 1, whatever, right? So if you think about it from that perspective, that Malo Gusto, now think about a formation, right? He, off the ball, he becomes right back. But if you go 3, the right back naturally will have to push forward, and the right back cannot invert because you already got 2 in the middle with Lavia and Caicedo. So the logical movement of that back 4 turning into a 3-2 and then 5 on top is that right back's got to play where Malo Gusto was playing. Mm-hmm. It's just by nature of that philosophy of 5-5 of Maresca. So whether it be Gusto, whether it be whoever else, they need to have that role. So we need to look at role as opposed to that personnel. That role someone's got to do. So then it comes back to the point that, okay, we want to have Colwell in the middle. We don't want Reece James to bomb up in front, like bomb up and down. My solution, honestly, that I've been thinking recently is no problems. You can cater for all of this, but you're going to have to make some adjustments. 1, Levi Colwell in the middle, no problems. Wesley Fofana as RCB, Cucurella as LCB. That's your back 3. Cucurella moves in as a left back when that fullback comes in, and that fullback for me has to be Malo Gusto, in my opinion. Malo Gusto holds the width, you get rid of Madueke. You get rid of Madueke and Malo Gusto holds the width. Because right now, who holds the width? Madueke holds the width, and Gusto comes as that half space. So you get rid of Madueke, you go Malo Gusto out wide, and you start playing Cole Palmer in that half space. And where does the other half space player go? That has to be Felix for me. And then you got Pedro Neto and Jackson up front. That's the only way I see it. To eliminate this whole kerfuffle of Gusto being the half space player, you actually play players that are half space players in Cole Palmer and Felix. But the problem with this is, there's a problem with this, and I think this is why Enzo Maresca, he alluded in the press conference prior to the Man United game, I think it was Serrea who posed that really good question. And he said, we are working on Felix and Palmer to play together. So he is working on this. But I think the reason why it's not happening yet, and this is just my thought based on watching all of these Conference League matches where Felix is playing, Felix off the ball has got popcorn. He's watching, he's a spectator off the ball. Right? He's got front seat ticket to a movie. Maresca can't have someone who is watching a movie off the ball. You got to press the way Maresca wants you to press. You got to cut off passing lines the way he wants you to cut.
We knew Felix couldn't do this, though. When we signed him, we knew that this was one of his massive weak points, is him off the ball. We knew this. So, again, this comes down to, if this doesn't work out, recruitment matching up with the manager. Are they having that conversation that needs to be had? This is the profile of player that I need for my system. This is how I need a player to play in the half space. And this is what you're bringing me in. And if that conversation is not being had, or politics and contractual agreements running down and PSR and swaps is overriding tactics, what we actually need profile-wise to actually perform. Because I actually hear everything you're saying. The only thing that's missing from that is Reece James, one of our best players, picked up man of the match against Newcastle. But
I want him.
He has to get to the fitness level where he can play that position that you're talking about with Malo Gusto. And then you're getting the best version of Reece James. Best version of Reece James is getting up and down on the right-hand side, getting crosses in, getting potentially into even shooting positions, because I wouldn't mind Reece James in that free-man role. Yeah. If Reece James was the free man, I think we'd have a lot more fun. Yeah. I've said it on back-to-back previews. That if Reece James could be in this free role that Gusto plays in, playing on this inside right channel, in these shooting edge of the 6-yard box positions, he'd do a far better job. He's a better passer.
Do you know what, Matisse? Then he wouldn't be the free man anymore.
Yeah, he wouldn't
be free. Then Cole Palmer becomes the free guy. Because he's a threat. Exactly. He's a threat.
Yeah, because he's a threat. But you're right, bro. I think the way you've explained it, that option is the only one that makes sense, because I can't understand Cucurella not being in this team. I know he didn't make a massive difference when he came on, because we were just terrible. But he's been one of the best left backs in the league this season.
Any which way, he's been substituting Gusto, right? Last game also he brought Cucurella on. So Reece James practically has played 2 halves of football on the right hand side. Against Newcastle also he was there on the right hand side. So it's not like for the whole 90 minutes Reece James is being used as a left back. So I don't know if he was too scared of the right sided players the opponents had, because United had Rashford. Arsenal
Rashford was on the left. Rashford's far better.
I think they were switching. They were switching in between. Like Garnacho was on the left for some time, then Rashford came on the right. So I don't know what's the thinking is over there, but I just feel Cucurella has to be there, because practically before the suspension he was playing every game and he was our best fullback. I don't know what happened with Reece James's return, that he has made these tactical tweaks. I think it was Palmer's individual brilliance that got us that goal against Newcastle. Otherwise, we were quite locked in that game also. Reece James provides that explosion.
He wants Reece James's leadership. He's called on Reece James to show leadership.
Play him on the right, play him in his natural position.
But fitness, he doesn't think he can get up and down.
I was going to say this.
Baba, I've got an answer to that. The reason why maybe, this is just once again my thought, the reason why Cucurella is not playing all of a sudden. And I think it's got to do with the fact that, you know how we keep talking about Cucurella is the best inversion, like he's best when he's inverting. He's the best inverted player for us. Rightly so. But the problem is, when you have Lavia and Caicedo, there's no need for inverting anymore, because Lavia and Caicedo stay deep. So how are you going to invert? And Maresca doesn't play with flat 3 midfield because it just doesn't work because he wants 5 and 5, right? He wants 5 and 5. So once again, if you do play Cucurella and you have Lavia and Caicedo, Cucurella is going to end up playing the way Gusto was playing on the right side. So Cucurella would become a half space player and Cole Palmer would go on shift on the right. So you're going to have the same problem. Now we have the problem of Gusto being the number 10. Then you're going to have the problem of Cucurella being the number 10. And this is
who would you prefer
none of them
the
are
free
good
man to be?
effectively.
Cucurella is probably better going forward than Gusto is.
So here's the thing, Younes. This is why I've said in my recent video, we have to listen to what Maresca is saying in the press conference. He specifically said prior to the Man United game, Gusto is he's the best one after Cole Palmer to play that role. So he doesn't rate Cucurella to be the 10. He rates Cucurella to invert. And you'll notice generally Cucurella will invert when we're playing with Enzo in midfield. If it's an Enzo Caicedo, Cucurella inverts, Enzo goes forward. This is why we say, why is Enzo number 10? Why is he playing number 10? That's because Cucurella is inverting. Because he doesn't rate Enzo to be a center midfielder, basically. He doesn't rate Enzo Fernandez to be a defensive midfielder. So Enzo Maresca thinks, and this is just maybe he's watching in training. I don't know. He just doesn't feel Cucurella is good in the half spaces. He's good inverting as a central midfielder. He's just not good in the half spaces. Gusto is not playing in central midfield. Gusto is literally playing in the half space. This is why he's in shooting range. He's in the right. My problem with Gusto is, brother, if you look at his heat map, it's not too dissimilar to what he was last season. He's still operating in the right side. My problem with Gusto is, what happened to your passing? That's got nothing to do with the role. But if anything, I think he understands. Bro, you know what? If anything, Gusto understands the role. It's not like he's one of those ones he's confused. Where am I meant to be? He's actually there every time the ball, he's there positioned well. So he actually understands Maresca's tactics. Problem with Gusto is he can't seem to execute the plan. Pass, Madueke is there. Put on a pass and he's going to run in. And the pass is astray. Madueke puts a ball through into the byline. It's now up to you, to Malo Gusto, to find that lovely cross. The crosses that he used to make last season, all of a sudden, he can't make those crosses. That's got nothing to do with the role.
Yeah, it's all about
His
quality.
fundamentals have disappeared for some reason.
It just feels like he's being asked to do too much tactically and his brain is just overloaded because he is technically sound.
Yeah.
Last season, he was playing on that right-hand side, but his role was far simpler. You're going to be a normal right back and you're going to get on the overlap on Cole Palmer. You're going to provide width and you're going to give crosses. From a tactical perspective, that information is very simple. You're also not being pushed into central areas, so you don't have to do as much scanning. When you're playing as a fullback or as a winger, you don't have to scan what's behind you because there is nothing behind you. The only thing behind you is the line, the white line. So you just, your whole experience as a footballer is far more simplified when you're on the wing. You can open up your body and see the pitch. Everything you receive is on the same side. You're not receiving from your back. You don't have to scan. You don't have to. That midfield, central area from centre mid to central attacking midfield. The amount of scanning. There's people in front of you. There's people behind you. There's people to your right. There's people to your left. There's people calling for the ball here, there. It's just so hectic. Unless you are a top player in those areas, you are going to struggle. And especially a young fullback who has been playing right back consistently for Lyon and then for Chelsea. He might have played a little bit of centre mid in the academy, but if you're physically a little bit more ahead than the others, if you're technically more ahead, you're going to find it easier. The pace of the game in the academy, in any academy lower level in any country, is far slower than any Premier League game you could ever imagine. So it's not even the same. You're going to get an extra 2-3 touches on the ball. In the academy, you get the ball. You look, you scat, you have time. In the Premier League, one touch, boom, they're on you. And if you're not ready to, what's your next pass? You don't know? Oh, finished. Bye-bye. See you later. Get to tracking back. You've lost the ball. So I feel sorry for him because I don't think what we saw last season was a fluke, but I think right now Maresca has put a lot on him, and I get it. The way you've explained it is brilliant. And I'm actually going to try and make sure that I get some sort of visual tactical pad in sync with what you just said, because I thought you explained not only Cucurella but Gusto perfectly. Now it all makes sense. But I don't know what the solution is because, like you said, Reece James can't play that role right now physically. If he was to try and play him that role now, he'd get injured most likely.
Goes back to recruitment.
Well, I was going to say there's two things here. So the source of this entire issue comes from either players not playing in their actual positions, and as a consequence of that, we've got certain positions where baby players are just not at the level that's required. Do you know what I mean? Because if we
100%.
did, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
100%.
Like, we're talking about Cole Palmer being completely ousted in a game where we know he's got a level, but who else does that's around that can contribute, that can also offer, that can also take the focus off of him, like you've mentioned. Now, as a consequence of that, we've seen players who are struggling, like you mentioned, Gusto, who's been basically just given all freedom, go and do what you want, even by the opposition, and he can't utilize it.
They don't rate him.
He can't utilize it. So it goes back to that same source. Again, have we recruited right? Do we have some players I reckon are good enough? Some players, are they genuinely capable of the top level, or are they not? That's a question. And in times of, let's say right now, in terms of development, yeah, it's a young team. We're looking to grow. I don't want it to be a case where we overcomplicate the situation. Sometimes, less is more. And if players, like we go to Cucurella, listen, if we need a left back, you play a left back. Do you know what I mean? And if he's able to move forward, or he's able to cut in, he's able to offer what he can do going forward, then he can do that. But you just simplify everything a little bit instead of overcomplicating it, because sometimes, and this is where we get to Gusto, maybe his head is fried. It's a possibility, right? Or it could just be like maybe he's struggling in that certain role. We'll see. But there's always a question mark of, are we doing this right, or are we not doing this right, or are we overcomplicating, or are we not giving him the right instruction? Or sometimes less is more, simplify everything. That's just how I think it's best in the long run for a team that is young and still developing. If not, we'll just see constant mistakes. And you see constant mistakes are going to happen. But when you start seeing, for me, it turns into needless mistakes. Like this whole experiment with Gusto, Reece James, left back. Well, we've got Cucurella who's there, play him. Do you know what I mean? If he can offer more threat going forward, as you said, maybe that might liberate Cole Palmer. Maybe that might alleviate Gusto if he does play right back. If we've got to save Reece James because he's not ready physically, cool, no problem, but keep Gusto in his role. Just simplify the situation a little bit.
If we play Cucurella instead of Reece James and we still have Gusto doing the same thing, I don't think we improve. I don't think we get any better. So, like Miz said, the only way to actually improve is for Gusto to go back to doing the role that he knows from last season. Have Cole Palmer back on the right, even though he's been great in the 10. Have him back on the right, away from the double, maybe double, triple marking, because you're not going to go all the way out wide to go and double, triple mark. And if you do, you're leaving space in the middle. And that's where the overload starts. And that's where either in Felix, in Cuckoo, or dare I say it, Carney Chukwuemeka, where are you? We've got 3 other players that can play in this 10. Now, he doesn't seem to regard in Cuckoo as that option. He said he's a striker. He's not a striker. He hasn't been playing well as a striker for months. However, scrap him for a second if you don't want to use him there and you want to keep using him as a second choice to Jackson, who won't come off the bench in Premier League games. Felix or even Chukwuemeka. You said you like Chukwuemeka. You said you like Chukwuemeka. If you like him, why have we not seen him? So we've got options to take Cole Palmer out of that 10. Chukwuemeka is more of a willing worker than Felix in terms of box-to-box midfield potentially. Someone that can get back, someone that can get a little bit more involved if he's physically ready. And then you've got that old routine of last season in Gusto and Cole Palmer that worked brilliantly in the Premier League and still threw up great statistics and got Gusto he was probably our second best player, right? And then I'd go Gallagher, but I think Gusto was right up there, top 3. Yeah. And you've got that option there. And then you can put Cucurella into the 3 and you can keep Colwell centre. Because I get the whole Colwell thing. It was Salah, absolutely ripped against Liverpool on that wide position. You don't want him out there. Any good winger, even Bournemouth, got good wing, Semenyo. You don't want him out there with those guys. You want him in the middle. So I get that. But for me, like you said, Miz, that Gusto role has got to change, because if you get to the half space and you're not able to deliver the pass, which he wasn't, deliver the shot, which he hasn't, what are you?
This is why he got hooked, right?
This is what Javon said. What's the point? You know, that's what Javon said. What's the point?
This is why he got hooked. Just going back to what Younes just said, right? Like in terms of simplifying things, I fully understand what you're saying, Younes. Simplify, less is good sometimes. But I think once again, my theory behind this is you can simplify things if you have a Saliba and a Magalhaes. You can simplify things if you have a Virgil van Dijk and a Konate, because these guys are monster defenders. I think it's complex on and off the ball, because Maresca once again keeps talking about the defensive balance. He's not confident. He's not confident as much as he likes.
Yeah, he's trying to compensate for the defensive.
As much as he loves Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana, he knows they're not monsters and they need cover. They need to be babysat.
There we are. So this was my point. So it goes to the same source. The levels are not there.
This is a realization I just had after Man United. The levels are not there. The levels are not there. But I still felt the levels should have been there for Man United. It should have been there. But it's not there. This is why I'm like, do you know what? This top 4 race, we need to maybe humble ourselves a little bit, because there are teams.
No, we still must.
No, we must.
No. See,
we must.
You have put in a man and a match performance, but now I'm hooking you because you just took it too far. Oh hell no!
I humbled myself, man. I humbled myself.
No, top 4 is a must. It is a must. You must. And the thing is, if the recruitment has not geared towards being able to, deal with these situations, and we're not physically, and I always come back to physically, because the midfield, the managers mentioned physically in regards to Enzo. When we're talking about the 2 centre-backs, Colwill and Fofana, we're talking about physically. Again, maybe it's if it's speed for Colwill on the wide areas, or it's physicality. And then with the keeper, we're talking about, his ability to actually be a competent, reliable, throughout the full 90 minutes, switched on goalkeeper. The same goalkeeper that they're briefing, by the way, again, long term, even though he's the oldest goalkeeper we have, is no problem. Badiashile randomly briefed, even though no one asked, right? Shush. So there's no excuse. You've made these selections, you've made these choices, you have to make it work for top 4. If you spend this amount of money and the top 4 is not the bare minimum, it is poor on the recruitment side. And that is why I go back to it again.
Said there is no top 4.
When Duran is scoring goals at Villa, everybody's like, oh, we have to trust Samuel, Porto. Oh, we have to trust. Never doubt. What about what's at home? Where is the balance? Again, I've asked again, where is the balance? Why is it not making sense for the manager? Why is he not able to use 85 million worth of attacking depth in Nkunku and Felix off the bench at Old Trafford? Why are they unused subs? Why is Dewsbury Hall, a summer signing, not even on the bench? These are the questions you have to ask when you're talking about elite level recruitment. It has to be across the board. It cannot just be Andre Santos, Esteval, players that have never played for Chelsea yet but look incredibly gifted and talented. I'm talking about balance in the first team once again. Why is it not there? You've had how many windows? Was this not meant to be the final window last summer that we judged them on? Now people are starting to forget that. Don't forget, please. This season, top 4 is the minimum requirement, especially when you've walked out of the Carabao Cup willingly against a Newcastle team that played their strong team on Wednesday, strong team against Arsenal, won both games. Manchester United, who played a pretty strong team against Leicester, easy opposition, and then had to follow up with a big game against us and picked up points. You can't walk out of that cup. You can't moonwalk through Conference League and then tell me, oh, well, Europa League, that will be fine. Now, the manager keeps saying that Europa League is not, I've not been told what. Don't worry, you don't need to be told. You don't need to be told. All right.
We're telling you. We're telling you.
You don't need to be told. Because, and I'm going to circle this back. I know people aren't going to like this, but I'm going to circle it back. Last season, we had 10, 11, 12 injuries every game week. Yeah, this season, everybody's fit. Yeah. Last season, 6th. Don't tell me this season 5th. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You don't get to have... I'm going to give you credit because you've had everybody fit, right? I don't know is it the manager? Is it the medical team? I don't know. But keeping everybody fit is an absolute blessing. Let's not waste our blessings now. Let's not waste it. Everybody's fit. This is a miracle. We should be able to perform. We are fourth. So let's maintain fourth. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where Miz was going to go, but I'm reeling him back in. We got to be in fourth. We're fourth now. We got to stay fourth this season. We have to.
Where I was going with that was that as I was piggybacking off. Blame Younes. I was piggybacking off what Younes was saying. Younes is saying that
I gave you an assist, man. Come on.
he gave me an assist and I scored the goal. Maybe it was an own goal.
Offside.
It's over there.
Read the line, man.
Yeah, it's offside. You offside like Ganacho.
What Younes was saying that I agree with it. There is a realization that all the pieces are not there. It feels like, and you look at our summer window. Besides Pedro Neto, Maresca doesn't trust any one of those. Besides Neto, how many did we buy? Like 10? How many players did we buy in the summer? 10, at least 10. Tell me 10, at least. I remember every week I was just reeling off a new player.
It was like 10. Yeah, it was.
It was like 10. Out of 10, Pedro Neto is the only one Maresca trusts.
Here's the signings. Neto, trust. Starts Premier League games at times. Not all the time. Sometimes on the bench. When
I think
Sancho's coming back now, so hold on. You know what I mean? 60 million, just about trusting.
I think Neto
just about, yeah. But it's 60 million. So Felix.
Doesn't start.
Dewsbury Hall.
Never there. Not even in the building.
Yogurt Pot.
Yogurt Pot?
Goalkeeper. Yogurtson. Mike Penders. He's in Belgium under 3's Genk. Aaron from Argentina. Still in Boca. Renato Vega, squad player. And Wiley, not the rapper. He's also on loan at Strasbourg.
He's at Strasbourg.
Gu, I mean, yeah, he was 6 million and he's not ready. Tossin, free transfer, unfortunately doesn't start. And Sancho, loan, and Sancho and Neto.
It's Pedro Neto.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 signings. Let's take off the loan boys, which is 3, 1, 2, 3 loans. Yeah, so about 7 players, 8 players, unfortunately. 3 of them, 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them. 2 out of 8.
That's embarrassing. And you're telling me you only trust 2 to come into the first team when you need a change?
That in itself is a failure for the directors. You set up a manager for the new season with how many players did you say, Matisse?
8 players we've signed that are not out on loan.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to leave the loanies out because they're developing. 8
and you
players
trust
that come into the
one.
first team and 2. Yeah, well, I say Sancho is one of the 8 because he's on loan. We're going to sign him for permanent. So Sancho and Neto are the only ones trusted. So 2 out of 8.
Well, not even Sancho. He said a couple of games ago before he got ill, I dropped Sancho for tactical purpose. So he doesn't rate Sancho tactically either.
But because of minutes played in Prem, I'm saying Sancho's played a significant amount. Neto's played a significant amount. So that was maybe just a one-off for that specific game.
We'll see against Arsenal as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to say 2 out of 8.
2 out of 8 is what we said. We have to start looking at the directors going, what have you done?
I've always looked.
This is why, Matisse, what you're saying was spot on. Like, no matter what, that aim should always be there, no matter what. Even if we've realized levels are not as high as it's been deemed, if recruitment's been poor, there's no excuses. This has turned into a situation like when you owe a gang money. Right? And they're like, you got 48 hours. And there's 2 hours left. You don't go and say, brother, the card doesn't want to go in the ATM machine. Like, it doesn't want to work. I can't do anything. They're like, I don't care, brother. Do what you got to do. If not, it's finished for you.
This is if we don't make it. Because right now, the positive is, even though it doesn't feel like it, we are ahead of Arsenal. I mean, don't ask me how that happened, because we're so annoyed we aren't further ahead. You look at Nottingham Forest at home. Actually, now that's not looking like they were down to 10 men, but Nottingham Forest are third and they're having an incredible season. So at this point, I'm ready to just let that one go. Palace at home, disappointed. Man United, disappointed. So I like the fact that we're disappointed, because it tells us that we're still not only moving in the right direction in terms of we are fourth and we're not 11th like we were last year, but also that we're still pushing for more. We still have high expectations of, striving for more. We're not complacent. We're not comfortable. We're not,
We're not Arsenal.
Fourth. Exactly. But we are fourth, right? We are in a good position. But that Arsenal game now is so interesting because they're level on points with us. Villa are level on points. Villa still drop points. They've had 3 draws and 1 defeat in the last 5, So it's not all rosy for them. Everybody in this race up until the wire is going to drop points. I just don't want us to be on the receiving end of being unlucky on the last day, because we won't be unlucky then. We need to make this our position, not comfortably in 10-point gap, but just don't leave it to chance. They say with the referee, don't leave it to chance. Don't make a tackle that could get you sent off. Chelsea, don't let top 4, don't leave it to chance on the last day. Don't be saying, we were unlucky on goal difference. Don't leave it to chance. We cannot afford to leave it to chance. We need to be in there. And that's what it's about. But at the moment we are in there.
My problem
quickly.
My problem is, off the back of what just Matisse said, I think too many teams will now know what to do with us. I think initially when the season started, no one kind of had an idea what Maresca might do. But now the fact that Liverpool has done that brilliantly, Man United to a certain level has somewhat stifled us. Arsenal are the best at the moment to play Jose Mourinho football. They love playing the game without the ball. I don't know what has happened to Arsenal, but they love it without the ball now.
But that holds true for all the teams, bro. Like,
but hold on.
Villa are being found out. Arsenal are in a
what I'm saying is that Maresca now needs to go to the next level.
Even against Newcastle at home, where we won, even against Newcastle, because you didn't mention Newcastle at home, we had one big chance. We had 17 shots, but we had one big chance against Newcastle, just one at home when we won that game. So we're not creating a lot of big chances recently. That's the main thing that's alarming to me, is we're not creating big chances. Against Bournemouth, was it Bournemouth or was it Nottingham Forest? But we had, in Cuckoo missing from right outside the goal. We had
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham, you know what I mean? We're not having that now. So
what I was going to say is, I'm enjoying the conversation, but don't swing the pendulum too negative, guys, because barring the Liverpool game, if you really go back and analyze those games, it's us shooting. It's more on us versus the opposition. Barring that Liverpool game, it's us versus the opposition. I think we've been shooting ourselves in the foot more often than not. Against Manchester United, again, everything Miss said is spot on, but we are still in positions to win the game. We still had players that was lackluster on the ball. We still had players not playing to the level that they've shown this season, when the speed of play was a lot quicker. When Jackson got the ball quicker and could turn quicker. When Jackson was finding that link up, because the ball into Cole Palmer, he would just immediately know what the next pass was. So, kind of reel it back. It's not. I don't even think it's a matter of us being figured out, because Maresca does change tactics in game and how he changes it versus the opposition. Again, these players still need to get to a next level.
We've got points in the games that we were not supposed to, right? In some of the games.
Exactly. Overall, looking at it, we're still in a good position and we still could kick on. And a point that is screaming out to me is, I get what Miz is saying, to a T, and Felix would be perfect. I don't think it's necessarily Felix off the ball work, because he comes from Atletico Madrid. Their off the ball work is supposed to be
but he didn't play.
Level. He's supposed to.
He didn't play because of that.
He
never made it because of.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
To what their level is, what he showed at Atletico Madrid when he was in the team is still better than what we do, to some extent. If you understand what I'm saying. So their level of the ball is up here. We're here. He should still be able to hit here. So I need to see him implement that. I need to see him give that a try if that's the case. Because it's 2 games on the running that Gusto should have been that man, that key, that cog for us to kill the opposition, and it's not working. So we can't keep going on with the same thing. You understand? So at this point, I don't think Maresca has been figured out. It's just us not playing what we're supposed to play or how we're supposed to play.
I don't think you know what I hate when I see it in live chat. I'm pretty sure the boys will say the same thing as well. I hate when people say, let's not be negative. I personally, I'm not being negative. I don't think anyone's being negative. I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a constructive criticism here. None of it was negative. We've said, in fact, the podcasts that we've done, the episodes that we've done prior to the Man United game, that was anything but negative. Like, we were probably overly positive. The way Matisse was moving all throughout that week was aggressively positive. So this whole ideology of, let's not move towards being negative, I really dislike. You know what negativity is for me? Negativity is for me is, you know what? This team is absolutely pants. We can't expect nothing. I think we've highlighted some really good points about our strengths, our weaknesses. I hate when people try and create this constructive criticism into negativity, because that really hurts me. Because that's when I feel like saying, do you know what? It's not worth having a conversation now, because I'm going to be painted as a negative person. I see that in Matisse's comments all the time whenever we do these, all you can eat Chelsea episodes. The bare people, Younes and me, cop it as being negative. And it's not negative. Nothing that we've said here is negative. I don't know how else to paint this. You know, we've created a constructive criticism. Maresca being found out is not the end of the world. It just opens up a new gate where he needs to find a new solution. And I think we've talked about the new solution here. So I would hate it if someone watches this and go, these lads are going towards too much to the negative. I don't think so. I think we as a fan, all of us have some level of concern as to what we've seen in certain matches. Yeah, we're optimistic, but unless we see the consistency.
That's legitimate. But what I'm saying is simple this. If we were supposed to do what we're supposed to do and play to the levels that we've seen, those games that I listed, we wouldn't have lost. So it's on us. That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant by the pendulum swinging. No. The opposition was nothing great. Manchester United are still shit. What are we talking about here? Think about the second half of that old game. You think if we turned up like that, you think if we turned up like that, speed of play, getting the ball quickly, Palmer getting out of space. We've seen Palmer tried to be marked before, and he gets out of it. We've seen when people try to double up and triple up on Palmer, one of our teammates drops in to take the ball off him and quickly switches it out. That's what I'm talking about. We saw none of that, and that's on us, not the opposition.
He had one moment where he received the ball, the 2 people pressed him, he had that one touch, and
he's gone. But what happened? Yeah. He didn't finish how he normally finishes it in terms of the final pass or the shot. He gets into the box. Why is he dwelling? Why is he delaying taking the shot? Half the time when Palmer scores his goal is because he takes the shot unexpectedly and he beats the keeper. He catches the defender out. None of that happened. So that's why I'm saying it's not necessarily negative, but I genuinely think it's on us, not the opposition.
I want to save a bit of time at the end for Caicedo, but go on, Younes.
Yeah, no, real quick. This I think I can bring basically both together, right? Because what you've mentioned is correct, I reckon, Javon, that we make tons of mistakes defensively as well. We've not even come to Sanchez. Sanchez has gotten away with one today on this show, I'm telling you, because
I can't even say Fofana got away with it. How the ball goes over his head.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is the thing. Yeah. So there are things, absolutely, we see it week in, week out now, where we're shooting ourselves in the feet, without question. This is why I feel like it's important to always call out these things when it's done, because out of fear of being negative, I feel like there are people that can just gloss over it and pretend it's not there. And the worst thing you can do is just be complacent and just like pretend like something's not there, or it's not an issue, or it's fine. Because when you do that, especially with a bunch of young lads in a team like this, they're just going to be prone to more errors. And you don't want to get to a point where people think, oh, it's fine, it's okay. It's not okay. Like I said earlier, we're not Arsenal. Some people are going to say, but Arsenal are further ahead. We're not Arsenal because they've gone 5 years, right, with Arteta right now. And what have they actually got to show for it? If that's us, right, we're trying to get ourselves back up to that level. But when we're at that level, we know that we end up demanding silverware, please. Like there's no if, buts or maybes. We don't bring ourselves down. It's important to maintain that even in times of development because that's how you grow. There are errors and I feel like there is a fear possibly of being figured out systematically, but I bring it back to the same thing. Level of the players. We go back to the same thing that you've mentioned, Javon. The mistakes being made. Again, level of the players. This is where like my original source of this is recruitment. That's the original source of this entire thing is how we've recruited. Have we done it well? I mean, look, I won't drag on for too long. There's one example here that just it screams. Look at Enzo Fernandez, man. Like, we spent that much, and we genuinely don't know what to do with this geezer. Like, at this point, it's genuinely concerning. Like, does he even fit at this football club? Do you know what I mean? So, there are questions, for sure. That's not even on Maresca. Maresca's got to find a solution. He hasn't got a choice, and I hope he does. And I'm not going to pin it on him, but this is why I go back to what we said earlier when Matisse mentioned. We got to get top 4. And if we don't, heads are rolling. It's as simple as that. And if we do, then great. We've got something to go towards next season where we can start being serious again. But
And just quickly, before Matisse goes,
on.
just quickly, off the back of what Younes just said, once again, this is not even being negative, but it's as a fan that you want to see, especially against the big teams. We've played Man City, we've lost. We've played Liverpool, we've lost, albeit gracefully.
Man United was a loss.
Man United draw feels like a loss.
That was a loss.
Now, so we played 3 big teams. I know Man United's 13th, but at the end of the day, they're still a big club in terms of their stature. Now we've got Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are all demanding top 4. Top 4 ain't happening if you're not picking up.
You have to beat at least one of these big teams.
You gotta at least pick.
I agree.
So now if I say it's a must to beat Arsenal, I'll be deemed as someone who's sprouting toxic, No,
we're at home. We're not beating Arsenal away, so we're at home. It's a must.
But for me, I'm genuinely worried because they are well drilled when it comes to defensives. I know they've been leaking goals lately. I get that. But generally, they're structured well. How are we going to combat that? Do you know what I mean? So,
it's a fair question.
There's one more thing. We are yet to play a promoted team. So I think in this run, if we had played a Southampton or a Ipswich or a Leicester, then the position in the table would have not looked the way it is right now. Like, we would have been comfortably 2 or 3 points up. There are 9 points for the taking, in my opinion, and we are yet to play a newly promoted team. So I feel after 5-6 games, it will paint a clearer picture. But if we do the math, in the last, I know football is not played like that, but in the last 5 seasons, 71 was the highest that you needed to get top 4. 70 if we round it off that you need to get top 4. I think we are on course for that. We'll get the proper picture after the 19th game. Like, I think half of the season is
10 games is always where I think you can assess your start.
Yeah.
And we are 4th.
Yeah.
If Arsenal are level on points with us and they're still in the title race, then that sounds all right to me. It's just making sure that we do continue to kick on, and we're not struggling to find a solution for our issue. And the trust needs to be there for those B team players, because if they're not, even if we do make top 4 and we do win the Conference League, which I think is an NA on a lot of these players. We didn't pay Felix to win the Conference League. We didn't pay for, Nkuku to win the Conference League. You can do that in your spare time. That's almost like extracurricular activity. But when next season rolls around and the Champions League is there, it's either we get to grips with a week that we just had where you play that starting 11 2 times in 1 week, and you don't say, oh, well, it's 2 games in 1 week. Oh, we're going to get injuries. You actually get a grip and play. Or that B team, there's levels to this. Panathinaikos one day, Inter Milan away, and next at San Siro. So we will very quickly see that there will need to be players sold that were purchased by these same directors next summer. Because when we look to elevate ourselves, when we look to kick on, even Arsenal have had this with Edu. They bought Zinchenko and Jesus. Now they probably need to sell Zinchenko and Jesus. They did their job. Now, some of these guys, I don't think they've even done their job. You know, they've not contributed enough to Chelsea Football Club since coming in. I'm talking about Badia Shields. I'm talking about Disassis. I'm talking about Mudriks. I'm talking about Enzo Fernandez's. They've not contributed enough to Chelsea Football Club to even sell them right now and be satisfied with the progress that they've made. Zinchenko and Jesus contributed more in that season, turning them from 5th to title challengers than those players I've just named have done for Chelsea. That's just facts. But to elevate, we are going to have to correct errors that have been made with this recruitment. We are going to have to correct, because there are errors there. For instance, if Enzo doesn't kick on, I don't want to be forcing Maresca to find a solution. If he can't find a solution, he can't find a solution. Don't kill him for it. Give him Andre Santos and find an exit for Enzo Fernandez. If that is what it comes to. Mudrik, if he is not able to contribute and be a player that is actually capable of starting in Premier League games by the end of the season, find a solution, because we need wingers that can contribute in the Premier League, not in Conference League. So that's what I'm looking at in the summer. It's okay right now for top 4 because we've spent so much that just not making top 4 is ridiculous. But when you go on to title challenges, you need that physicality. You need to be able to score goals from crosses. You need to be able to score goals from set pieces. You need to be able to show different elements to your game, not just play the beautiful way, which is what I've said at the start of the season. The only way Chelsea can win football matches is to play the perfect, beautiful Barcelona way. And if they don't play that way, as we saw on the weekend, they are incapable of sticking in a cross from a set piece, from a corner, and getting a winner and walking away on a shithouse routine. It has to be perfect. If our players drop below their technical level by even 15%, kalas. Finished. That's what happened. We dropped our technical level and we didn't have anything else to bring to the table to compensate. When Arsenal don't play well, and they're level on points, so terrible example, but last season, when they don't play well, stick a corner in, Gabriel, bang, 1-0. When Man City don't play well, stick a ball in, Stones, equaliser, bang, or winner, late winner at Wolves. Other teams have other solutions. And like I said, those teams are fighting for a title, so it's fine. But next season, when we need to go up, that's where you need to have more options. You need Van Dijk from a corner, Konate. You need Salah long shot, Madueke. If you don't get that,
you know what we need, Matisse? We need that ball in from Reece James to find the beautiful head top of Jackson. You remember that goal Jackson scored?
You said beautiful head top of Jackson. I don't know.
You remember that goal Jackson scored last season? Imagine if we got that on Sunday. If we had that on Sunday, oh, bro. Be delirium.
Yeah. Does anybody want to speak on Caicedo before we come to a close? Because he was... his goal was brilliant, wasn't it? It's a shame it didn't mean more, but he's had a great start to the season.
150 million midfielder, bro.
Picked up where he left off last season.
Miz said some mad stuff on X, bro.
150 million midfielder.
150 million.
But which midfielder is better than him at the moment in the Premier League? Tell me.
He overtook Gravenberch.
Declan Rice is better, you think?
Nah.
Oh, he's joking.
Being sarcastic. Being sarcastic.
He picked up where...
Comparisons were there, weren't it? And Declan Rice is in the mud somewhere now, and Caicedo's killing it. So
he picked up where he left off last season. Because remember when everybody started to say, you know what, this Caicedo's having a good second half of the season. I know Toby was on a mad one saying Caicedo didn't play well all season. But for me, I'm used to it now. It's at a level where if there's a drop off, it'd be more of a surprise than seeing what he's doing this season. And a bunch of people said it. If you could get this guy a bit more forward, he would give you goals. Scored one last season. Scored one early this season. Should have scored against Tottenham last season. I want to see more of this. And he gets that affordability.
Tech there, yeah?
Pardon?
It's not just a Mateo Kovacic thing where it's just like once in a blue moon. Do you think there's actually shooting tech there?
Yes, and he's afforded that because guess what? His partner in crime, Lavia, can sit when he ventures forward. He couldn't do that before because he had to sit for Enzo.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying? So if now we can develop a partnership and they can move the ball quicker when they're both on it, we could get... Remember, he's an assist already. Don't forget he got assist.
Yeah, Jackson. He's playing that ball in behind very well recently. He's doing very well with that as well.
Exactly, and he's afforded that because Lavia is in the squad. So if just change nothing when it comes down to Caicedo, that's it. I don't have nothing to say. Just keep doing what you're doing.
I remember when we
Change
were
nothing.
going in for him, and the price was so unsettling. But I saying it on this very show, I was like, we still have to sign him, though. Still have to sign him, though. Because could you imagine if we don't have him? The way our midfield is being built, oh my goodness, we would be in serious problems. He's the only person that can consistently get us the ball back. When his tackling technique is there and he's on point, he's ready to make the tackles. He's ready to get the interceptions. He's ready to play that ball early to Jackson. He's ready to be press resistant and to play those 1-2s. He's the closest thing we have in this team right now to an all-rounder in terms of a midfielder. There's still more rounding to do, but he's the closest thing we have. He's the closest thing we have in this squad. 100%. You know, so I remember saying a couple of weeks ago, and I even included Palmer in this, if Caicedo can have a man in a match performance and like a 10 out of 10, I'll take it. He's the one that needs to be the best player in the team in terms of performance, because if he plays to a certain level, we can't get below a certain level. And that defense is shielded as, you know, a certain amount of protection is being given. But yeah, he was brilliant, and he's been brilliant all season. I just hope that we don't run him into the ground by asking him to cover. You know how Kante was asked to just absolutely kill himself, basically, in his Chelsea career. I hope that's not the same for Caicedo. I hope we do give him a better balance.
The ground he covers as well is incredible. His recovery, the amount of times we've seen recently when there's a transition from the opposition and Caicedo's in the scene so quickly to help out the defenders. Yeah, he's been impeccable, man. Like passing from deep, not just from the build-up. Like he's passing from midfield to find players, attacking players, and putting them through. Obviously, Jackson recently, what he did, I think it was against West Ham. Yeah, it's just winning duels. Like I don't generally pay too much attention. You know those sofa score ratings that people put out? I don't generally pay attention because for me, like I've seen some mad ratings, right? I'm like, what the hell? How's that guy got this and that guy got that? Like, they didn't watch the game. But if you actually look at Caicedo's past like 7 or 8 games, they're all like dark green colors. Like they're all 7.8, 9, 8, 8.5. And I'm like, wow, that's insane to have that many games, you know. But that's going back to how the standard was. I think I said it the last time I was on the episode that once upon a time that was the norm. Like 8s and 9s for our midfielders on a regular wasn't like no one really talked about that. Like that's so what? That's normal.
Standard. Yeah.
That's standard. What are we gloating about that? That's just on a regular. But now it's so glaring for us because not everyone does that in our team. So.
Just really quickly on that midfield, the only thing I think would make this midfield perfect is if we could get Lavia to our next gear, in the sense that you remember when we saw that passing range from him in preseason.
I agree.
I need him to bring that to Premier League games. Yeah. Like get the ball into feet and show us what you can do passing wise, because we've seen it. Don't give us a little dessert and say, oh, this is, you know, when you go to like Costco or whatever, and they give you like
toes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they give you like the little taste test, and then no, you actually want the whole tub of ice cream. We want the whole tub of ice cream. Give us, keep doing that. Because if we could get him.
So I agree with you, but with him and Reece James, I do put an asterisk because I'm thinking to myself,
I was just going to say that.
They've only just really come back from long term.
That's why he's playing one game a week.
Yeah, and the Premier League pace is very different to friendly matches. So if he was a Fofana that was consistently available for the last 2 years, I'd be like, bring me my passing range immediately. But I think right now, he's just trying to make sure he don't do nothing wrong. And it will mean that he's a bit safer. Reece James's position is safe in terms of it's not box to box, end to end. It's just a safe, do your job, defend, and go home. It's unfortunate. That's just the way it is, I think, until these guys actually build up some fitness and some momentum. But that, you know, that just means that we need to see the other guys stand up even more, because they are fully fit. Mm-hmm. They don't have any issues.
And this is, I think it's really important, because I mentioned the midfield a lot. And I feel like if we're playing in the double pivot, both have to, and I get you've just mentioned about Lavia. I completely agree. If he has to play it safe at the moment, he has to. That's something we have to ride through. But going forward, this will help a player like Palmer as well. This will help even the attackers. You need to get both midfielders involved to create those options and get the opposition to think. If not, it's just so easy to defend against.
Yep.
So this is why we struggle when Enzo's on the pitch and he's got Caicedo alongside him. We get caught out. It's a mistake, or someone loses the ball, we're cooked. With Lavia, thankfully, we have a bit more protection. But going forward, he has to offer that too. There has to be a balance, because if he was playing just as a standard DM, then cool. I'd just expect him to just cover the defense and you're good. But he's not. If it's a double pivot, both have to be involved. If not, we're going to find more games where we find players like Parma or attackers just like stranded, marked, can't move, and there's no outlet. So I hope Caicedo doesn't have to push too much. And because even Caicedo, thankfully now he has that protection. We see him. He does the overcomplicated stuff brilliant in that United game he did anyway. And sometimes he'd lose the ball very easily, but he's got Lavia next to him. Unlike before where it was Enzo in a red carpet. So hopefully it will start ticking along. But I just want to stress the importance of both midfielders being able to offer themselves defensively, but offensively as well. I'd love to see Lavia get involved in terms of moving forward too.
Yeah, and just to quickly break that down, if Palmer's marked out the game and Lavia is showing the same passing range that he did before, there's no point in you marking Palmer out the game at that point, because we'll just bypass Palmer and go right into the attack. And then that, in turn, will free up Palmer, because they're like, okay, we have to get on these guys that are dictating the game.
Exactly.
It's impossible to defend.
Yeah.
Plus, have Reece James, Colwill, Lavia with that passing range. A
player that was before we wrap up, a player that was very underestimated, that doesn't get spoken about enough in terms of a double pivot that actually wins titles, is Nemanja Matic. He played with Fabregas and he played with Kante. And both times, he either relinquished, okay, Fabregas, you're the better creator. I'm going to do my defensive work and I'm going to make sure that I am holding down the fort, because Fabregas was not a quick, athletic. He's in more of an Enzo in terms of the speed, but obviously his passing range is absolutely clear of Enzo's, and goal scoring. But because that chance that Enzo had, he should be hitting the target, right? I'm just going to leave it at that. Yep. But when Kante was there, notice Matic's passing ability. Notice his ability to break lines. Even long shots, you have to respect him because he can crash it in. That's where Nemanja Matic really shows that he's an all-rounder midfielder. His ball-carrying ability was there as well. Didn't move with the same grace as a Yaya Toure, but he was able to drop a shoulder and go past someone and say, right, bye-bye, because I'm stronger than you. I'm gonna absolutely shoulder barge you, and I'm gonna keep it stepping, and I'm gonna move into the next gear. He was like a locomotive. He was never running at full pace. He was never but he's long legs, long limbs. He's just going, So that's the type of partner that we don't have for Enzo. And if we have that partner and he still doesn't work out, then it's like whatever. But at the same time, we've spent so much on the midfield. I'm not going to say that we have to sign that type of DM. Maybe, I don't know if it was an Onana that went to Villa, or that type of level of space eater, physicality, demon, whatever, to unlock Enzo. I'm not that desperate. We could just build a different midfield if we have to. But that's the type of player that I think is very much missed at times, because he was just dynamite, man. Absolutely dynamite. But yeah.
And this, just to mention about the levels we were talking about earlier, Caicedo scored against United with a great shot. And I want to say that's relieving, because for me, I find it so important to have midfielders that can shoot. We don't shoot enough. And this is the thing. If you are struggling to get the ball into a certain area, or you're struggling to play a certain way, and you find yourself in a space on the edge of the box and you can't shoot, well, we're out of ideas. You'd see the players that we used to have back in the day. Everyone, you mentioned, even a Matic could shoot from distance and stick it in the top corner. That is something that no matter how much football will evolve, it will never go out of fashion. If you can hit a ball and put it top bins, you can do it in any era. Because it's just a matter of you hitting the ball and putting it in a place. That's never going to go out of fashion. We need to have midfielders that are capable of that, because when we get players that are marked and there's not much else we can do, but there's a bit of space and you're on the edge of the box and Caicedo done it and fantastic. I'd love to see more of that because that can win you games.
Rodri, great example.
There we are.
How did they win the Champions League? He crashed it on his left foot against Bayern Munich and he stuck one in against Inter Milan in the final. And he's on the edge of the area both times and he's put it in. And now without that option, you see Ruben Diaz taking long shots. You see, look
at Guardiola.
Carl Walker taking long shots. When Man City can't break down that defensive line, even the great Man City under Pep Guardiola, Foden's not at it, De Bruyne's injured, Bernardo's not at it. They can't break down that deep block. Haaland's just in between centre backs. He's got nowhere to go. Who's on the edge of the area crashing it in? It's Rodri. Yep. He's like, you give me the time and space, I'm going to put it in. My wingers, Doku and whoever else, Grealish, they're not giving me the numbers. They're not giving me the goals. Okay, cool. I'm going to crash it in from the edge of it. Even the great Man City have someone, and they're missing him dearly right now, for all of his defensive work, for all of his passing range, he can shoot from outside the box.
Exactly.
And you need one. You need one. So, yeah. But listen, we'll come to a close there. I think we made some great points today. Some brilliant discussion. I'm going to get a graphic up for that Ms. Tactical masterclass with Gusto and Cucurella there. That's going to look great in the edit. But Javon, let the people know where to find you. Congratulations on 1,000 subscribers.
Let's go. Man, I'm supposed to have a celebration party, but I've been busy.
Yeah, you need to still have it though.
Yeah. I'm thinking about going live for the Arsenal game. Maybe do a watch along. Let me know,
bro. Just enjoy, bro. Enjoy it. Don't move. Obviously you move on, but you enjoy it.
I just go live after if we win.
It looks so clean, bro. I always say the 1K always looks clean.
Right,
as soon as you get to that, then it's the 10K and then but yeah, man, well done. So let the people know where to find you.
Follow me on the Fan House Podcast on the road to 1,500. 1,000. Let me take it slow. 1,500 subscribers. Thank you guys for all the love and support. And yeah, I will be dropping a Noah's Ark review. It shouldn't be too long. It should be wrapped up. And then we look forward to Arsenal. I will be very pissed if we beat Arsenal. Again, everybody knows my hatred for Manchester United. So if we play better, I'm gonna be but hopefully we beat Arsenal. Hopefully we get the 3 points, and hopefully we go into this international break. Feeling good vibes.
International break again.
It's a must not lose. I think I don't want to cap us because Man United has kind of dampened my. I was on a run. You saw I was on a run, and they kind of dampened it. They dampened my run. So I just must not lose. Don't lose that game at home to Arsenal because
no. Listen, you're talking about substitutions, yeah? Let's sub. I'll take the chest now. We got to beat Arsenal.
Bro, I had plans, bro. I was going to break into Turkish's gaff next after Saeed, bro. I was on it.
Do it.
I can't do it now. Like, it's just, Noah's Ark.
It's a humbler, eh? It's a humbler,
man, it is a humbler, It is. I have to be quiet now. But anyway, Miz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a fantastic show. The other side of the coin. I dropped a similar sort of tactical sort of analysis video with Ryan. So if you guys want to check that out on my channel, that's the latest video right now. So go check that out, where the first probably 15 minutes we talk about the emotional feelings after the Man United game, but then after that it was all tactical, where we brainstormed a lot of things. So if you're keen, check that out. Just news, whatever news pops up, going to be providing my opinions on it until we gear up for the Arsenal game. Obviously there'll be the watch along for the Noah's Ark. Are they really Noah's Ark? Is that what they?
No,
call
it's just Noah.
They're called Noah. Yeah, Matisse got to be thinking.
Well, we're not playing his Ark. We're playing him.
Noah's Ark FC. Noah. So but obviously the big game is the Arsenal game, man. But yeah, I'm like Matisse. I'm not so much chest the way I had for Man United. Had we won, I think that would have really laid the foundation. But cautious. I'm cautious now.
Yeah, I understand you, brother. Same. Younes, brother, let the people know where to find you. It's been a pleasure. Great show.
Yep. It's been quality. Very, very interesting, detailed episode. So big up to everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed it. And Younes Talks Football. I'll be giving the preview tomorrow for our game against Noah, where I think we should be able to get in behind, considering Noah is 950 years old. So I don't think he's quick. That should be good for us. Even for the B team. But Arsenal preview Saturday, then Sunday we go again, and hopefully it's 3 points. And I will be putting the pressure on because I want to beat Arsenal terribly. So let's see what happens.
And Baba, let the people know to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure as always. Great show.
Yeah, bro, learned a lot of things today. I'm gonna watch this episode when I'm in the gym.
Do you know how to set up for Sunday now?
Yeah, tactical masterclass by Miss. Loved it. So really nice. I hope we beat Arsenal on the weekend. So potentially Arsenal will be with 0 wins between the international breaks. Like when the football has restarted, so they have no wins in the Premier League till now. And there's only one.
This man says he wants to do it for the banter. What?
So I just hope we beat Arsenal or at least get a draw. I don't want to lose to them again. I believe we'll get something out of that game. So yeah, we'll be covering that. Champions League, we'll be doing some neutral watch-alongs because miss my club in the tournament. So that's why Conference League is the elite European tournament this season, right? No one cares about the Champions League anymore. So yeah, FC Noah watch-along will be there. And yeah, the same stuff as always on Drogbaba.
There you are. Well, guys, make sure you subscribe to all the boys. Links will be in the description as always. I am 450 subscribers from 100K, guys. I would like to get it done this week.
Subscribe to the man thing. Subscribe to the man thing.
That's mad.
I'd like to get it done this week.
You're probably going to get it like in the next couple of days.
That is the plan. Yeah, I have been planning for this. Do you know what I mean? International break. I don't think I can go through another one just chilling on the edge. So I want to just
have it. You might hit it after the weekend.
Well, that's the plan.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully that's what ends up happening. But the people are in control. Maybe they just don't even subscribe from this point onwards, and I just sit at this point for the next 5 months.
It's not gonna be like that. It's not gonna be like that. You're gonna get it, bro. Subscribe.
So yeah, definitely subscribe if you haven't already.
I know 400 people. I know 450 people in Bangladesh. Don't worry, I got you.
Do you know what? If we hit 100K by next,
I got enough relatives, bro. Don't worry.
If we hit 100K by next Tuesday, we'll make this show live. How about that? This show will be live again. There you go. We'll do a live. We'll do a once off. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm enjoying the pre-records because everybody has their chance to speak. But yeah, if we get 100K by next Tuesday, I'll make this show live, and I'm sure that will entice them to get the job done. So yeah,
you know what that means? You're going to be number 3.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh wow!
I've been
Don't
dreaming
about me, man.
Since I was 16. I've been since I was 16,
maybe when I'm
bro.
70.
I've been thinking of that, bro. I need that.
Matif,
Do you know what I mean?
if we win on Sunday, the breakdown should get you there. Let's just put it.
Yeah,
let's just leave
facts,
it there.
facts.
If we win
Yeah,
Sunday,
facts.
trust me, the breakdown should get you there.
Bro.
Madness.
It will be a madness. It will be class for the whole of YouTube. But yeah, until next time, big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace.
Peace.